So let's look at a second paragraph from the sample essay I've been writing. If you recall, I shared a paragraph from that essay with you in my last video lecture. And now I'd like to look at the second body paragraph and see again the main elements of the paragraph, which are going to be the focus topic sentence, the details and interpretation that function to support the claim in that sentence, and a conversation with an outside text that we've read in the course. I'm calling that insourcing. So let's look at the sentence, the topic sentence. I put it in blue. You'll see on the one hand, I've got the specific experience, which is watching my children at swim practice. Then I've got the active verb, reminds, something happens. And then I have the reason for work. That should I, that should be I should, right? Let's fix that right now. That I should work to provide my children enriching life experiences. So that's my topic sentence. It's got the three elements I need to see. Pause if you want to stop the video and think about that a little bit. But I'm going to move on to the next element, because the next thing we need are details and interpretation that support that claim that I just made in the topic sentence. And in this case, I have quite a bit of that. I begin with a sentence right after that describes the experience that I'm referring to. So I describe taking my kids to swim and watching them and the things that I see there that are important to me. And I've put those in blue for us so that in orange for us so that we can see that they really function differently than the topic sentence. The topic sentence asserts the claim, and then the details start to paint a picture of what happens at these swim practices that's so important to me. Why is it that these swim practices motivate me to work? And I walk through the details that I see in the practice and how they make me feel and what they make me think. So that's the detail and interpretation I bring in to make the paragraph work. But after that, one of our mandates is to then move on and show that we know how to work with readings and bring them into our arguments. And I begin to do that here when I discuss Denise Barber, the steelworker interviewed in Gig. And you'll notice in this case, my setup and integration of the quote appear together in one sentence. And if you recall in the previous paragraph, I pointed out it doesn't need to be that compressed. You can take a sentence or two to set up the quote and then integrate it into a third sentence. But in this case, it worked for me to get to that quote pretty quickly, and so I did. And so you can see here that I am setting up and integrating a passage from the reading. I'm going to put that in red. And that's good, but if I stop there, I've missed an important third step that I need to use with any source. And that third step is to interpret and to apply the reading, to explain how the reading fits with my logic. And you can see here I say, I too share this anxiety about what the future holds for my children. In other words, this is the connection between me and Denise Barber. And I talk about how I want to pay for their college too. But I go on to say that for me, college is more of a crazy scrolling problems, that for me, college is more of a long-term goal than a short-term goal. In other words, I don't just match myself here with Barber, I actually differentiate myself from her a little bit. And that's an option I wanted you to see that you have, that you don't have to agree with the passage that you bring in. In fact, it can be more interesting to bring in a passage that you don't actually agree with. Bring in a passage that allows you to reflect on how your ideas are different than the reading. So when we talk about bringing in a source, the source can support what we're reading, but the source can also be at odds with or create a dialogue or a conversation that through differentiation allows us to better explain our own ideas or thinking. So let me see if I can get this whole paragraph to show up here on this document. It's all pretty big right now, but let's see if I cut it down to 90%, I still can't see the whole thing. What if I go down to 50%? Okay, so there you can see in a very small form how big this paragraph is, and you can see the three elements. The blue is the topic sentence, the orange is the detail and interpretation, and the red is the insourcing. And so you see I end up with a pretty beefy paragraph with a blue claim, orange being support in the form of details and interpretation, and red being an integration of an outside reading into the discussion. Remember, with the reading, we're looking for setup, integration, and application. So please take a little time to look over this new version of the draft with the second paragraph, and I hope this video helped a little bit. You may find it worthwhile to stop the video and go back and look at some of what I discussed as I was discussing it. Thanks a lot. Bye.